The driver of the car gives up pretty quickly, but we don't know the condition of the passenger who was opening fire on law enforcement. Probably, I mean, when you see the car, you see it is riddled with bullet holes. There's a very good chance that that person was obviously hit as well. We just don't know to the severity of his injuries. And you push. And so that's what we're talking about. Obviously, Chris is talking to his photographer, but you see the woman, she gets herself up, and this happened to her, I guess, about almost a half hour ago, or 35 minutes ago, this pursuit.
She did quickly surrender and had to back away, and so now it's left as that passenger in the car, and they don't know his condition, if he's been shot, if he's incapacitated, or if it's a standoff situation. They just have to be sure the condition of that passenger, and that's why we've been having the standoff and waiting.
And that's why you see all the law enforcement out there with their guns pointed at that car. And then they pulled in, the Special Enforcement Bureau came in onto the scene, and that's their, I guess it's called a bobcat, but bearcat. And that thing is so highly fortified to withstand.
That dude gotta be dead.
We're looking at the car, you could see
He ain't moving.
with bullet holes.
That windshield completely.
Oh, look at the back windshield, the side passenger, the backseat passenger windshield. So, and we know that, I mean, there was a dramatic ending to this police pursuit, and one that we don't usually see like this.
Yeah, this is like something out of a law enforcement show, you know, that you see prime time, but they are, certainly a second and a third.
Oh, okay. Major reinforcements. Yeah, well, Chris, yeah, we're seeing more reinforcements coming onto the scene.
We've got a number of personnel now joining forces here. We've got a second Bearcat, a third Bearcat, and the bomb squad. Now, the bomb squad may just be here as a precaution, but they have now arrived on scene as well. We were looking through the rear window there just a second ago, and
Dudes are shooting that shit. The cops are shooting that car down.
That it didn't look like there was anybody else in the back seat, and that may, in fact, be the case.
Boom, boom. Look at that shit.
Just yet. I don't think we have
They spraying that
clear
motherfucker.
confirmation on whether there was anybody else inside that passenger. Certainly under these circumstances, once those bullets went flying through that rear windshield and basically right through the back seat there, just really hard to tell whether anybody else may have been inside that vehicle, maybe in the back seat. So we'll wait for further confirmation as to a total number of people in there. As far as we can tell, though, at this point, we've got a driver who has surrendered and a
Let me see.
passenger
They
in the
don't
front
show him.
passenger seat who has been struck. That is the passenger who at one point put his head out the window in the middle of the pursuit towards the end before this car came to a stop, and then pointed a very long revolver in the direction of law enforcement officers and opened fire. Looked almost like a Desert Eagle, by my estimation, but a large revolver nonetheless. And just a dramatic scene here. And as you can tell, with now additional SCB units arriving on scene here, this may be a situation, as it was mentioned earlier, not only will they box him in and approach him hood to hood, from head to head through the front of the vehicle, but they may box him in from all angles just to be on the safe side. There's another bomb squad, so we've got 2 bomb squad units and a drone that is now about to be dispatched over to the vehicle. We don't see this very often. We know that Orange County has used this multiple times in recent memory. I have not seen LA County. I know they've had one for several months now, but they have a fleet of drones at their disposal. But now LA County Sheriff, for the first time I think that I can remember, is now about to use a drone, I think, to maybe do an orbit around the car and peer into that passenger seat.
For them, because it saves lives, it saves the canine units, and to be able to look into that window would be so helpful to these officers.
Yeah, well, let's bring Bruce Thomas back in, the law enforcement expert. Bruce, we know you're retired law enforcement. Incredible to have this resource of a drone.
Yeah, very much so. The drone is a new tool that law enforcement's using. The fire department has had it for a little bit, and some of the wildfires to surveil the
That's the best thing they have, be the drone. They could find people lost.
Right up to the
They could find bodies lost. They could, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the best ventures they done. And I want to buy me one of those shits. I want to buy me that small black drone, man. Look at it, it's flying.
That white, looks like some sort of caravan.
I want to give me that fucking drone. It's like about $100, man.
In case they do feel they need to clear the vehicle. SCB, like Chris was saying, multiple vehicles have shown up. Ultimately, they're going to have to box this vehicle in from the front and the rear, and then tactically they'll have to formulate the plan, which they're doing now.
Oh, man, cop cars.
And then approach the vehicle.
And they must not have gotten the keys from that driver when she surrendered. She was probably just in a panic and getting out of that vehicle.
Yeah, you know, in this case, it looks like a newer Prius, so there may not be keys involved. It may just be a fob of some sort and a press button ignition. That's all conjecture on my part, but it does seem that might be the issue.
Good point there.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it's just incredible to see what's good. The amount of people there, the amount of law enforcement there.
I don't think we've seen quite this amount of police presence.
Think of the San Bernardino shooting.
If you zooms out, you'll see there's much more than what you're looking at right now. Just getting into position, I suppose.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Chris.
Well, I wasn't sure if my mic was up, but I was just going to say that it does sound like from scanner traffic here that the female driver is cooperating and giving some valuable information to law enforcement. Also, we have another observation, a report from the ground that there is indeed movement still at this moment, still coming from that passenger seat. So it does sound like the passenger is severely injured.
Yep, I knew it.
In the passenger seat.
You gotta be hit, bro. They must have hit that dude, bro, a couple times. Niggas should just fucking say, yo, serious, bro. Like, yo, man, all right, man, you niggas got me, man. Let me get the fuck out, bro. Take me to the fucking hospital. What the fuck? What dude's waiting for?
There's a gun in that car, and there's
Man, you don't see no movements, no nothing.
I mean, it's a very delicate and tricky situation.
It's crazy.
To get this person out of the vehicle, because it's not like the normal one where they open the door and just give themselves up.
And we're talking about a possible murder suspect here.
Wow.
In Downey, and Bell Gordon Police and LA County Sheriff's Department started chasing these two people in this Prius.
Let me see.
And we saw the driver get out of the car with her hands up. This passenger remains in there, but we did see him stick his half.
I don't see that nigga moving though.
So this is someone who is not afraid to die, and he's not afraid.
I mean, what happened?
So they need to be very careful.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And Bruce Thomas, you're also on the phone with us.
That nigga was shooting.
When you're watching the amount of steps being taken to try to get this person out of the vehicle, what is it that you're thinking that's going through these law enforcement minds right now?
Well, there is an incident commander or a supervisor on scene, and they're requesting additional resources if needed. You have, it looks like the City of Commerce.
This nigga's moving? Let me see.
East LA. You do have some other outside agencies, Downey, but when SCV rolls, they roll with multiple vehicles, multiple tactical
You can't see him moving or nothing. He's not moving.
Large law enforcement footprint at this for obvious reasons, because it's necessary.
I can't see if he's moving or what.
Absolutely. And again, it is a very delicate situation, and obviously these law enforcement officers all know that their lives are at stake because this person...
The girl was driving, she got out. There's somebody, looks like somebody's in the back also.
Yeah, the other thing, if I can just add, is time is on the side of law enforcement. There's no rush to get into this vehicle and to the suspect.
Windows are busted.
Safe to do so. But at this point,
it crashed. That's a crash.
To get an observation of what's going on, and they're formulating a tactical plan. And it looks like they're going to move the other Bearcat up now.
Yeah,
there's possible in.
So they will box that car in, perhaps get the drone and be able to get a good look at the suspect. And you saw, I think there was 2 more Bearcats, and there comes the robot.
Oh,
too.
shit, the robot.
Wow, they're pulling out everything today. This is quite a sight.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to have these kind of assets.
That's a big-ass robot.
And when you have them, you use them.
Look at that drone.
You're trained for these type of scenarios. So this is just an exercise that is
That shit look hot. Look, they got the police thing in there. The police light is crazy.
As well. Hopefully they'll get their answers soon.
And you also know it's interesting that, you know, after any sort of, Bruce, you obviously can weigh in on this one, but after any sort of incident, especially something as dramatic as this, law enforcement take this as a study and then they sort of debrief on this and see what did they do right, what could have been done better. I mean, this really, they're doing it, they're very methodical with how they're going to get this person out of the vehicle.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's called a tactical hot wash or a tactical debriefing, where everybody weighs in and they critique themselves. And sometimes law enforcement, and having been a part of these briefings, we're a little harder on ourselves than we need to be, but we need to make sure we do it right.
Yeah, exactly, because you never know when the next time will happen when they need to do exactly this thing.
Right, you see those two Bearcats though, they are, you know, as we were talking about, boxing this Prius in. Not sure if they're gonna go behind it, but they're getting a good vantage point to see if that
Right.
suspect is in fact incapacitated so much that they cannot move. They're, you know, to actually get out of the car.
How close they are to that vehicle.
Yeah, they're, I mean, right up next to
You
it.
see the back windshield there blown out, and
Oh, wow.
the back passenger window as well.
Oh shit, they got the two trucks, they boxed him in. He's hurt, he's dead.
They're going to get a really close-up glimpse.
That dude is dead, bro.
To tell what the condition is of that passenger.
That dude is dead.
And I can't imagine it'll be too much longer before they actually.
That shit gotta be bulletproof and everything.
Based on the proximity at this point, there's really nowhere for that vehicle to go, and they've ensured that if there was any question of that, they're now completely boxing him in with guns trained from all angles. And now officers, for the first time, able to get a really, really up-close look. Using those Bearcats, they can look right through their own bulletproof glass and make sure that that passenger, or decide whether he's still a threat or not. Again, they have brought in a number of tools, lots of technology showing up for the termination of this wild pursuit and a shootout here in Vernon this afternoon. Again, this all started as a pursuit out of the city of Downey. Downey police pursuing that Prius with two murder suspects on board through the streets of Downey, ending here at Downey and Bandini. A female passenger surrendering shortly after shots were fired. But it does look like there is a passenger who has been severely injured by gunfire inside the car still, and now it's just a matter of time, and I can't imagine it'll be too much longer before they finally bring this to a conclusion. But what a dramatic scene when you look at this shot right there. Look at this picture. Look at the number of officers that have been brought in from a number of different jurisdictions, predominantly LA County Sheriff's Office at this point. The number of resources, you notice the bomb squad, also the drone actually, I noticed a minute ago, the side of that drone actually said fire rescue, so they may be borrowing this drone for this purpose here. Here it is, it's now about to take off, and now they will be flying the drone over that Toyota Prius here, I would imagine, in just a few seconds as well. So just an incredible sight here following a very dramatic afternoon. The best news, though, have to reiterate, nobody else has been hurt. No innocent civilians have been hurt. No deputies have been injured. And you've got to give it up once this is all over here. Just tremendous props to law enforcement under what is nothing less than a terrifying situation.
It's a miracle, actually, that no one's hurt, because they were in traffic when he was shooting out the window.
And then all those cars, I mean, it is amazing that none of the other civilians were caught in any of the crossfire.
But they certainly are getting a close-up look at that car right there, from the front and the side. Yeah.
You see that the law enforcement really almost pressing their face against the glass just to get a gauge of what that suspect
This shit is crazy.
is doing.